grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light on this cold, rainy night. Still don't have any internet, so it just takes a little extra effort to get these messages to you guys. But the spirit is willing. So while we're talking about the spirit being willing, I got a question for you members of the little flock. Is your flesh a slave to your spirit, or is your spirit a slave to your flesh? Which one? Now it's easy to see which is the case by what your mind is set on and how you judge. There's a difference between the two men, the spirit man and the flesh man. One walks by sight and one walks by faith. One judges outward appearance and one judges the heart. Do you see that today? One judges outward appearance and one judges the heart. Well, which one do you think is judging the outward appearance? That's easy. We know the flesh man judges the outward appearance. So then if you find yourself judging something or anything that you go through or are looking at by outward appearance, then you are in your flesh mind. And we know that the carnal mind is death. So then you're in death. And it's that simple. It's not about what you physically did. That's why Christ made sure to let us know that when he said, I know that people think when you physically commit adultery, you have. But I'm going to tell you that if you do it in your heart, you've already done it. So let's deal with the heart. Because out of the heart come the issues of life. Y'all want to deal with the issues. And you know that in the world that you live in. They only want to deal with the symptoms of the problem. They do not want to deal with the root cause of the problem. Do they? All that stuff that exists to deal with symptoms. Pain pills, cough syrups, all this pain medication, opioids. That's all to deal with the symptoms. And what good is it to keep cutting the weed out of your life and you never get the root out of it? It's going to keep growing back, and it's going to keep growing back worse. It's just like an unclean spirit that leaves a man, and he has nowhere to go, so he comes back, and he goes, wait a minute, my house is still here. My root is still here. Let me go back in there. And he takes 7 more in, and the case is worse. Just like the garden is worse, because the weed grew extra. And you should have just took it by the root. But in order to go to the root, you have to go to the heart of the matter. So if you can't judge the heart, then you're not spiritually minded. So you're not in life. And you don't have peace. And that's the key to determine what state of mind you're in, is whether you have peace or not. That's the key determining factor. Do you have peace about the situation that you're talking about? About the thing that looks stressful? Do you have peace about it? Now, I can tell you how to get peace about it, but do you? How do I get peace about it? I go to the end of it. I do the internal work. I go to the end of what I'm looking at, and that allows me to judge it right, doesn't it? See, because when you go to the end of a circumstance, you're doing a lot of assuming about things, whether you know it or not. Let me give you an example. You want a pair of Jordans. These Jordans cost $200. You don't have $1. You hear that? And remember, the two minds think differently. The flesh mind thinks outward appearance and judges outward appearance. But the spiritual mind, life and peace, judges the heart. Okay? So you don't have the Jordans, you don't have $200, but you want the Jordans. So now you can go to the end, which would be, what would you be doing if you had them? Well, you wear them with this outfit, and you be looking like this and looking at yourself in the mirror like that, and doing this and doing that, whatever you would be doing. You're doing that in your mind already. So obviously, you have already assumed that you had the $200 and already paid for it. All the work was already done if you got the Jordans on your feet, correct? So then see yourself with the Jordans on your feet. Now you've skipped all of the hard things that make you stressed out, haven't you? So then you have life and peace, don't you? See how easy this is to understand? You think this is not the good news, what I'm teaching you? You think this is not the gospel? Why do you think Abba draws one out away from the world and cleans him up, cleanses him of his iniquities, and sends him back to the world to preach liberation and freedom to the captives? Because that's what the anointed does. Sets the captive free, and those who sit in the prison houses of their own soul, trapped in their own mind. They can't get out. They can't understand how to be free. They can't understand how to have life in peace. That's what the gospel does. That's what the truth does. It sets free, doesn't it? It makes you free from all of that laborious work that had you heavy laden. That's what Christ said. It had your soul weighed down. Your soul is your psyche. It's where you're thinking about bills. That's where you're thinking internally about stuff that make you mad. It make you stressed out. And I'm going to tell you guys a secret. Pay attention to this and you'll see the subtlety of it. As soon as you get stressed out about your own situation, as soon as you get sad about your own situation, or as soon as you get negative, you look for a brother or a sister to cast accusations at. Inside your mind, you do it. Yeah, well, this wouldn't be like this if they would just this. You instantly start to do the blame thing. Nope. That's the carnal mind, and that's death. That's what caused Cain to kill Abel. That's what caused Esau to want to kill Jacob perpetually. It's my brother's fault that this is the case. Don't you think Esau blames Jacob for the birthright incident? Don't you know it? He doesn't blame himself for it. He won't take self-accountability for it, in other words. He blames his brother for what happened to him. You see? So that's what's going to happen when you find yourself falling short of your own desire, your own goal. Just like those two, Cain and Abel, and Esau and Jacob. That's what they were mad about, their own shortcoming, wasn't it? Cain, if you do good, don't you get the good reward? That's what Abba said to him. So obviously, he didn't do what he knew he should have did. But he blamed his brother. That's what I'm telling you. The subtlety of it, it'll cause death. Isn't that what it causes? Okay, then. So let's stay away from the carnal mind, is what I'm telling you. And stay spiritually minded about circumstances. Not letting it get us down or make us think any negative thing is happening. We stay fools for Christ, automatically assuming that this is good that this is happening to me. Somebody may say that it's negative, but that's because they're carnally minded. They don't understand life and peace. How can you have life and peace if you think negative, nasty, horrible things are going to happen to you? How can you have life and peace? Think about it. So think about it now. What kind of thoughts produce life and peace? And that'll tell you how to take inventory on a daily basis and do the right things. Do the right labor. Garden the right garden. Instead of doing vanity. Those who labor, labor in vain. Why do you think Abba said that? That those who labor, labor in vain.